heard somewhere in this neighborhood there's a guy growing an edible landscape. But so far, I just see HOA houses that are pretty cookie cutter with lots of grass lawns. I bet if I run long enough, I'll find this edible landscape. Let's go together. Faster, faster, faster. Come on. Justin.
Hey, Jake.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Thanks for having me back.
Hey, you're welcome.
We did a video together a couple years ago. I want to see the update on the current agriscaping Justin yard.
You got it. You want to check out the trampoline first?
That's what I totally want to see first. That's the coolest part about your whole yard.
Let's go.
Okay. Believe it or not, I'm jumping on Justin's garden right now. I'm gonna butt slam his garden. Justin, what gave you this idea of doing a trampoline garden?
Oh, lots of ideas came through this. When you got these trampolines on your grass, you know, and that's how we had it, you know, as we kept moving it around the grass, because the grass grew faster underneath it in the summertime.
Okay.
And so we wanted to bury it to keep our kids safe, because we didn't like having the big cage around it and stuff. It looked terrible.
Because you had it on stilts before.
Yeah, on stilts, and it had a cage around it and everything.
Okay.
And so we put it in ground, and when I put it down 3 feet under, I said, you know, it's nice down there.
Yeah.
And grass was growing better under there. I wonder what else might grow under there. So I grew some Everglades watermelon.
Okay.
And it's like a
Wow.
cannonball looking watermelon. Dark green on the outside, deep red in the inside. So we planted them first under there, and it was just at the surface. And they grew amazing, but I felt bad having to send my 3-year-old down through the springs every time to go get a watermelon. Like, yeah, that one. I was like, dude, we just got to carve this out and make a garden down there with a secret entrance, and that's what we did.
A backhoe in or something and backhoed this out or whatever?
No, that
Or
would have
by
been a
hand?
good idea.
By hand.
By hand. It was 3 months of garden body digging. You know, it was good though. It was fun.
That's my kind of guy right there. So now I know that I wish YouTube had the ability to feel, because it's very humid in
Yes,
here.
it's humid, but cool humid. You know, right now. I mean,
It is.
Just after a little bit of watering and stuff. I mean, it's.
How much of the
Nice.
sun do you think this diffuses?
It's a 65% shade diffusion.
Really?
That's what we figured based on the different tests we've been doing on it. It's about
Okay.
65%. So
Okay.
you literally we converted it to a tropical environment down here.
Yeah, so what kind of stuff are you successfully growing in here that you cannot grow out?
Well, the Malabar spinach takes over down here. If I throw that in
Really?
here, it literally will take over the entire thing within one summer. I mean, the whole summer, just cranking.
For folks that don't know, Malabar spinach is like a vining spinach that climbs up.
Yes, and then there's another one called Jewels of Opar, another great spinach that we love to grow in these kind of humid environments. So all this is all jasmine, different varieties of jasmine we have down here. We got some of these bromeliads. These are tests to see if we can get pineapple to grow down here.
Okay.
We've got summer tomatoes. So tomatoes we get to grow a lot better. I just barely planted some varieties of tomatoes down here.
Yeah.
And those things will grow all the way through the summer, and they don't have to be those yellow pear tomatoes or some of the other ones that are only good for the summertime. These guys, like the champions or some of the early girls, actually will grow even much longer down in here and continue to produce.
Because a lot of time in the Phoenix area, you know, when it gets above 100, the tomatoes have a hard time.
Yeah, as soon as you get above 95, the pollen deactivates.
Right.
Get over above 105, now almost all the pollen from any of the varieties, even the yellow pears and some of the other cherry tomatoes, they deactivate too. So it's like they still grow, but they don't have fruit.
Yeah, and the plant itself just seems to kind of just hang on.
Yeah,
through
it's
the
just
summer.
like, it's just waiting. You know, it's just...
You're kind of like the test yard, and now you will actually install these for people.
Yeah, this is the worst one we built. So
This is
this
the
was the
first
first one. Yeah, so this is the worst. I mean, we built dozens of these now. I mean, we did an Olympic trampoline a few weeks ago.
That's cool.
Big old rectangle shaped one, and it's got they've got hammocks hanging underneath it. So it's such a big space. They've got hammocks that they can hang above their gardens and still have that seated garden down in there. It's pretty sweet.
I want that in my house.
Yeah. In the wintertime, the temperature can get, I mean, it was 17 degrees outside, but inside here it was 36. And so it never actually froze under here. And that was the other test we were doing. And then in the hottest time of the summer, you know, the temperature wasn't 120. It was just under 100 degrees. We were at 98 is now the record temperature we've had down here, but crazy humid, like you can feel now. It's like we're
it's already.
Yeah, it's like we are now in the Everglades.
I'm in a steam room, yeah. And then you could be in here doing the garden work, and your kids are jumping up top.
Yeah, they can still jump. So as long as I'm sitting on this, and that's kind of how I designed it too, is that I could sit here, and the flex never is enough that they would ever hit my head if I'm sitting on this on this wall.
That's so cool.
At agroscaping.com,
yeah,
you guys have a guide that will kind of rate the microclimates from A to what?
A to F. I mean,
A to F.
And it's not so much that that's bad. I mean, we don't want to go back into that, you know, kids school mentality.
No.
It's like, oh, these are just letters, identifying zones
Yeah.
that have specific growing
this
traits.
is a D zone.
This is a D zone. It gets a lot of afternoon sun, but the rest of the day it gets no sun.
Do you find that like all the celery and all the carrots choke out the citrus tree here, or do they live happily together?
They seem to live happily together so long as we have good soil to start with, and we have a lot of good watering. They're not choking it out. We're not showing any damage of sucking all the nitrogens out of it. It's actually working pretty good. And these are some pretty cool carrots too. These are the Cosmos.
Oh, they're
So
like purple?
it's a purple carrot.
There's a little one.
Well, there's the little guy.
So
you're getting an idea. See
a
the
month
purple?
or so, these guys will get much bigger. But I believe they're purple on the outside and orange on the inside, right?
Yeah, the Cosmos I think are a little more orange on the inside.
That's pretty cool.
That what you got?
And then personally, because I'm a vegan athlete, I don't mind eating some of that dirt.
Oh,
because,
no, not
it's
at all.
healthy stuff. And
You took the dirt off?
Well, just a little brush. There are B vitamins in there, right?
Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
We're here in this nook.
Yep, little nook.
And you've got some amazing raised beds that are full of, like, people don't realize this is what cauliflower looks like after the head has formed and it's starting to go to flower.
Exactly.
And all of these flowers are still edible just like they were before, right?
Yeah, I mean, these are some of the sweetest flowers actually that you can get out here in the garden. This time of year, it's like the best stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, those are awesome sweet, but even when they get to the big yellow blooms phase like those ones, that's even sweeter.
And then they bring in the bees?
Yeah, they bring in the bees. That's why we like to let them go to seed this time of year. We let a few of them go this way so that they attract a lot of the bees.
And folks think that I do these videos for the YouTube audience out there, but in reality, the videos are for me. Because whenever I come and visit people like you, I learn something new, at least one thing every time, and I learned something today. This tree above us, I see this tree all over town. It's a Hong Kong orchid, right?
Yep.
It's all over town as like a landscaping tree in the Phoenix area. And you're telling me that the flowers are edible.
Yep, it's an edible flower. So it's on the edible flower. Yeah, go ahead and eat it. So they're edible. Not the greatest tasty ones. I mean, this is more like survival food, but the petals alone, if you just take the petals off, throw that in your salad, it's kind of tasty.
But they're kind of neutral, just like
it's a
they
very
taste
neutral
like
thing.
nothing.
Yeah, the center of it, that's the part you kind of want to stay away from if you're going to stay away from some part of it. The center of it, it can numb your tongue. I mean, kind of like that Novocaine kind of feel that you get if you eat the center parts of that. But there could be uses for that too, right?
Oh no, I want to try that.
You want to try that? Takes a second or two to get it.
I can't feel it. If you wanted to liven up a salad and put some color into it, and imagine all the antioxidants in there that you're getting
there's a lot
in your blood in that color. Because that's the goal with gardening for me personally, was that I wanted to know everything edible around me in my environment. So if the food system collapsed tomorrow, I could walk around town and have dates or flowers or the weeds and know which ones were edible.
You can eat everywhere. I mean, you can forage in towns like ours here in Phoenix. I mean, year round, there's always something edible out there. You just may not know what it is. Or maybe the city doesn't want you to know. You know, I mean, it's those kind of things
I think that that's the case. I think that people want you just smart enough to work the machines, but not smart enough to live on your own.
That's possible. And it's interesting, too, because people are always thinking, you know, HOAs. You can't grow in an HOA.
Because you're an HOA.
Food. I'm in an HOA. Every HOA has plants on their list that have edible components already.
But you're in an HOA, but you're also keeping chickens here.
Oh, we don't call them chickens here.
What do you call them?
We call them ornamental jungle fowl.
Ornamental jungle fowl.
Yeah.
And why was that important?
Well, it's vital. I mean, because most HOAs as well as city codes have prejudice jargon that specifically rule out chickens. And when I was out here, you know, 10 or 15, I guess it was 11 years ago, my neighbor was sitting here with his macaws, and I could hear him, you know, squawking out in the back.
Bird.
Type of bird. Good macaw. He had two massive big birds. And I'm like, hey, he can have macaws.
Yeah.
He can have birds. Birds are allowed. And so I started realizing there's probably just a different way to talk about it, a different way to treat them. If I treated them more like family, like he does his macaws, and if I found varieties that didn't trigger that response that most people have, that's a chicken, you know. So I focused on birds that fit this category called ornamental jungle fowl. But we had to make sure that all the kids, that's all we talked about. It's like we have ornamental jungle fowl. We had silkies and sultans, houdans. millefleur du clay, I mean, feather-footed chickens, nothing that look like a normal chicken.
Which are the cooler looking
Yeah,
chickens
they're cool looking
anyways,
chickens.
you know?
And they still lay an egg a day.
They look
so
like
it's
show chickens.
Yeah, so we still got the benefits of all the things you get from a chicken, but they're a little bit smaller eggs maybe. But still, all the benefits of chickens in our backyard, and then we had to really learn how to run them in a way that made it conducive for an environment like ours, which, you know, neighbors close by, and how do we keep them quiet? How do we keep them stink-free and smelling actually good? So if you can make chickens smell good, anybody'd approve them.
Okay, your chickens are right over there.
Yeah,
I
they
smell
are.
nothing, and I hear nothing.
You haven't heard anything.
Let's go see them.
Okay.
Mason, Jake, are you the chicken whisperer? Because you got several kids,
Yeah, I got 4.
and they all have a job.
They all have a zone. I mean, they got jobs, they got animals.
You want to be on TV too?
Yeah,
There you go.
it's a coaching. She's
What-
an easy one.
What kind is this one?
This is a coaching. So you got the big old feathered feet
Wow.
and that, and they're all nice.
She almost has like an oily feather look on her
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, they get kind of a in the summertime you'll see a lot of that gold colors, and then you got that purple. See that purple hue starting to come through too.
Yeah. So what are some of your secrets to, number one, keeping the smell down, number two, keeping the clucking down?
Well, the clucking, everything about the clucking has to do with more so their diet than anything else, and their safety.
okay.
So if you give them a structure that they feel absolutely safe in, even when that neighborhood cat comes walking by, or maybe a coyote, they're gonna feel safe enough to be able to just go in and be protected, and they're not gonna cause any ruckus. The other time that they seem to be most a problem when it comes to their clucking is when they're laying eggs.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times you have there's one inside laying an egg, and the other ones are outside going, "Baka, baka, baka," and you're like, hey, we
like
got
announcing it.
Yeah, announcing it, and the other one's inside. If they don't have enough calcium in their diet too, we found that it's harder for them to push that egg out.
So what kind of methods are you using to increase the calcium in their diet?
Well, the brassicas, I mean, everything in the brassica family has a lot of natural calcium already in it. So we feed them a lot of our brassicas, the leaves. We always have kales on hands, the cauliflower flowers, you know, all that stuff. We're always feeding them that. And then we continue to grow things. We always are infusing calcium into our landscape, into our dirt, you know, with gypsum. Gypsum's a great calcium source, also helps break up our nasty clay that we have.
So
it's
all
a lot
of your
benefits.
produce you're producing just has more calcium
All
in it.
has more calcium in it. And so with that, any of the leftover stuff we throw in there, it's got calcium in it. It supports that, and we have nice eggshells. They're not getting all wimpy and stuff.
And this guy you're holding, who's this one?
This one's tiny. It's a Old English game. Really small, really pretty tame.
So she's full
Yeah.
size right now.
Yeah, this is full size. She's pretty old. She's one of the older ones, I think, in the group.
Wow.
But still healthy. You can usually tell by their comb. If it's still a dark red, they're still laying.
And what colors of eggs you guys get?
Mostly white.
Mostly
Whites and
white?
tans. Yeah.
Tan, yeah.
You can see it's a cool little ear lobe. That ear there. Oh, camera, not used to that. Little camera shot.
There you go. We'll put her back in the Casa de ornamental jungle fowl.
Yeah. Yeah, so with the ornamental jungle fowl, I mean, that whole theory, we raised hundreds of them, and we sold them to the neighbors as ornamental jungle fowl, all these little ornamental breeds, until the neighborhood had so many that the HOA really couldn't get rid of us. They just needed to regulate us.
Yeah.
And they all traced it back to me, and I said, let's have a conversation. I said, hey, look, we just need to get prejudice jargon out of your code. They're like, oh, we're not prejudiced. I said, no, you are. You say, no chickens.
Yeah.
You know, but you'll allow my ornamental jungle fowl, you'll allow macaws and these other things. It's like, what are you really concerned about? And they said, well, we're concerned about the smells. I was like, okay, come and check it out, see if we got a smell issue. We have a smell issue. If anything you're smelling is all the wonderful flowers we have in our garden. I mean, you're not gonna smell anything. And then the sounds, oh, we're concerned about the sounds. It's like, well, we don't have roosters, and they're quiet because of how we manage them. And then they're like, well, what else is your concern? It's like, oh, well, the aesthetics, you know, it's got to stay looking good, and you don't want to be able to see it from the street and all that
It's
kind
in
of
the
stuff.
backyard, in
In
your
the backyard.
own property.
My neighbors can't even see it. The angles of everything are set up that not even from their window can they see this thing even exists.
And what I found on my own personal property, that when I introduce a ton of wood chips as the bedding and as the ground cover for my chicken run,
Yep.
that neutralizes the nitrogen of their poop, and I get no smell. Dogs are far more loud and of a nuisance than chickens.
Yep.
Just
And
that people have gotten away from chickens recently in this
Yeah.
generation. They forget.
they're afraid of them.
I just found an article from 1913 in like, I don't know what the biggest paper of the time was at that point. It was saying, you are not a real American unless you're raising chickens in your backyard. 2 chickens for each member of the household.
That's perfect. That's
And
a
it said
great
in
ratio.
times of war, raising hens is a patriotic duty. In times of peace, a fun hobby.
There you go.
That was the article.
So where are we? Are we at peace or at war? It seems
was
like
a-
we're always a little bit of both, aren't we?
So because of that, chickens are patriotic and a fun hobby.
I'm game.
Justin, what is with this tree right here? It looks like a plum. Why do you have it decorated like a Christmas tree?
Well, of course, we want to celebrate Christmas year-round, but this is it's a weeping technique. So this is something we've been developing. We had a competition. So about 4 years ago, I had a huge 8-year-old, same type of Santa Rosa plum, 8-year-old upright growing, and we had them compete against each other. And I weeped these, so we put the rocks on it to hold them down. And what ended up happening is we were able to get 3 times as much edible production off of this tree than when we were off the 8-year-old tree.
Probably in a smaller area too, because
it's a smaller area. It adds a little beauty to it. But then what it also is I can actually reach all the fruit, because that other one was 16 feet tall. Birds loved the fact that it was farther than I could reach.
Sure.
And the birds with these, the leaves grow over the top. They hide them from the birds. So we had 3 times, literally 3 times more edible production off of this than we did over the 8-year-old tree.
Wow.
This is all hugelkultur in here, so you see how we've got a kind of an angled bed. But this angled bed also has a little stovepipe sticking out right over there. And that stovepipe has a subterranean watering system, so it's got a trough, basically an underground trough that goes all the way through this entire bed.
Okay, so this bed is mounted up because underneath you've got like a pipe or a tube or something?
Yeah, so it's a perforated pipe underneath there. So it's a septic system. It's the same types of pipes that they use for that. It weeps all the water out. It's just got perforations and corrugations, and it's got all that through that, and that's what's going through this entire bed.
So you can come over here, right to this pipe, and you can pour water down here.
Yeah, we just fill that thing up. Like once a week, we'll fill that thing up.
And that will run the whole length of your bed.
Runs the whole thing. So we have it right at the right angle, and then it just percolates through the hill rather than on top of it, so we're not pouring all the water up. I mean, you can see all these little worm castings are kind of up and around in little places here and there.
Yeah.
We don't rip things out. We cut things out so the roots can stay and hold the hill together.
Yeah.
And then as that biomass breaks down, it becomes food for the next cycle. And that's the other thing, is how do you rotate? How do you
important.
cycle?
Don't pull the roots out of the ground.
Yeah.
Just cut the plant off, let the roots biodegrade back into the
Yeah,
soil.
exactly. This is a dwarf nectarine. It's a red, sun red nectarine. We love this one. We got 2 kind of anchor these corners with that.
And then another pretty dramatic hugelkultur application here.
This is a much bigger hugelkultur hill, and obviously we've got a lot of things growing in it.
And I've been here before where in the wintertime, when you've had this, you've had all your winter greens on
Yes, so we just cycled out. So we just cut out everything that was in this space. We've got some dichondra, some other
you got some violas
beans.
here?
Yeah, the violas. These are great ones. They work well. This is an A microclimate where this hugelkultur is. So it gets morning sun, afternoon shade. And so that it'll help us keep growing these a little bit further into the season. Even though it's 95 degrees right now, they're still happy. Also another great edible flower.
And Justin, how many kids you got?
I got 4.
And each of your kids has a job.
Yeah, they have a zone. They have a whole
zone.
area of the yard. You know, one kid's got from the chickens to the tramp. Another one's got the central basin. They manage this stuff. And so this is all a managed area by one of my kids.
So you just sit back in a lounge chair and you just watch it all happen.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
I know, I'm just kidding. Because your goal is to provide the food for your family and then sell the excess.
That's right. Yeah, a truly localized food economy, and that's what we've been doing. And we've been successful with it, helping others become successful at it. You know, making money off of their hobby. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's a whole lot more fun when you can share it and you can see the looks on people's faces.
And what's Utopian Harvest?
So we created it was actually a company that was donated to our organization a number of years ago. She started the organization, and we were selling. A lot of our produce was going through the Utopian Harvest Network.
Like a farmer's market, or
it's like that. It's like a consignment service.
Okay.
So it's like Utopian Harvest. You can go to utopianharvest.com. You can learn more about what we do and the little markets that we have. But
and
it's
I can go there and buy produce.
You can go and buy produce. You can go online. You can purchase the produce, and it's all locally grown, and it's within 15 miles of you.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's another goal that Utopian Harvest has, that food never travels further than 15 miles.
So not only are you producing the food here for your family, selling it Utopian Harvest in other ways, but you're also helping other gardeners set up a system like this in their yards.
Exactly. So
we
built
money off their yards.
We built that channel so that people can join that same group, and they can sell their produce to that same means.
And what's the deal with these nasturtiums?
So nasturtiums are actually they actually fix nitrogen. So this is one of the other cool little tricks of these nasturtiums.
Oh, they do in the soil.
Yeah, so they actually can help fix nitrogen in the soil. These kinds of fit the category of the beans. If you're planting in rotation, these fit the category of a bean that would then help add more nitrogen into your soil and help fix that nitrogen. And then it's also a wonderful flower add. The sweetest part is that back. So have you ever done that? Just eat the back end.
Just suck the nectar out?
Yeah, just eat that back end part. And that back end is super sweet and then spicy.
Yeah, I mean, like a wasabi spice.
Yeah, it's good.
I just did a video with these guys on my YouTube channel. I'll put the link down below. And they grow a raised bed system for the wall.
That's right. And Alex is actually, he's part of our network. He's actually one of our certified agri-scapers. So he's actually trained in all our stuff.
Flower Street.
Flower Street Urban Gardens. FlowerStreetUrbanGardens.com. I mean, these are great. You can buy them online. You can get them by the tier. So if you want 1 tier, 2 tier, 3 tier to 5 tier, you can get them ordered. They'll ship them to you. It's a really cool system.
So you can turn your house into a raised bed.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. The peppers in the stores nowadays, they're big and beautiful with zero taste.
Yeah, no flavor at all.
And I
No
think
flavor at
that,
all.
and I think I'm right, that the taste is the nutrients. So when there's no
Yeah.
taste, it means there's no nutrients.
There, you got nothing.
So yours is full of nutrients.
Oh, yeah, try one.
Oh my God, it's a spicy one. No, just kidding.
Well, these pansies right here in the front, this is a really important one for my family because we have, you know, genetically we're predisposed, I guess, for a significant amount of allergies.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I got allergies that if I'm not eating right, I'm even allergic to dirt. I literally blister up.
Wow.
I mean, it's a dyshydrotic eczema. It's a really nasty stuff. You don't want to have it, what I have. But what we found is that the more of these natural things that I can eat, like these, if I have any flare-up, if I'm coughing at all, we usually send the kids out and say, hey, go eat 5 of those vanilla pansies, these white ones.
Yeah.
And then we'll wait 30 minutes. We'll put the clock on, and if all the symptoms have gone away, no need for any other medications.
Do you
and
just eat them raw,
medication.
make them into a tea? What do you do?
We just eat them raw. I mean, these guys, these ones, I mean, we call them the vanilla ones because they are a little sweeter, I think. Sorry,
Can I show
I'm
one
just
of
eating
these?
for
No,
myself.
go ahead. I just don't want to pick all your food, Justin.
Oh, you're totally
I feel
good.
bad.
Well, by picking them, that's the other cool thing about pansies, especially this variety. If you pick them and eat them, then it invigorates new growth.
Nice.
And so you get more flowers because you're eating the flowers.
Yeah, because it's wanting to go to seed, so it wants to produce more flowers.
It's like, hey, need some more progeny, or whatever, you know? They need more, and you can't just leave them on there.
So now, all my allergies are gone.
Maybe
instantly.
5. But it does. It actually has some natural antihistamines. It helps clear up things inside. You can kind of feel it as you're eating it. You can probably feel that a little bit.
This one's soothing, where the nasturtium was like, woke up my senses.
Yeah.
This one's very soothing.
It'll bite you. This one's the soothing one. This is a good one.
You've got a Vitex tree, which is the monk's pepper.
Yes.
If I were to eat peppercorns off the Vitex, what does it do?
You'll become more feminine. You'll really attach to. I'm totally serious. So what it does is it balances hormones. So that stuff is used medicinally, especially with the more homeopathic remedies. And so those
to calm your sex drive.
to calm your sex drive, you know. But for women, it helps offset PMS. So literally, it helps calm that. But see,
So,
for us guys,
good
it's
for
like
both.
the anti-testosterone thing. So it's like, oh, we don't want to eat that one.
Well, unless you
you
are a
really
little
need to
crazy,
calm
you
that,
need to
yeah.
calm the hell down.
Yeah, and that'll work. It'll work, and it actually is a pretty good pepper. I've tasted it myself, you know.
I should do 2 weeks where I just eat a huge abundance of that, and then I'll see what happens. Do a case study on myself on YouTube.
You go for it. I'll watch.
I'll become a celibate monk,
You-
meditating my life away. Justin, I know this is a wolfberry bush, but this is the biggest one I've seen in a
cool.
home application. I've seen them this big out in my desert hikes, but this one's huge, and it's in the goji berry family, right?
Yes, it is. It's the Andersoni variety. So that's the wolfberry. It's the Andersoni goji.
And if the camera can come in here nice and tight and see what's in your hand, those are the berries.
Yeah, and these are really small ones. This is kind of leftover from the winter.
Okay, so is this going to have similar health benefits like a goji berry?
Yeah, absolutely. All the same.
It's so perfect. Looks like a jewel.
Yeah, it's a little jewel. And these guys are definitely small. Normally they get about the size of my, more like a blueberry in terms of their size. And so,
That's really good.
yeah, it's a good one. I mean, it's a really good variety. We really love these. And when we feed them right, because that's the other thing. It's like if I underwatered this like what would normally get in nature, the leaves get much, much smaller, much more blue colored.
Yeah.
But then when I feed these, and we do a lot of foliar feeding on these as well.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and
Which
so
means you spray the leaves with nutrients.
exactly. Later this spring, when this new cluster that's starting to bloom and everything, as those things grow, they'll be a lot bigger. And then our fall group, because we'll get another big harvest usually around October, and it's also a much bigger berry.
Justin, thank you for the tour.
Hey, you're
I
welcome.
always love seeing your house. It's an edible landscape like others I've seen, but it's not like others I've seen because you have so many unique things going on with the trampoline garden, the wall gardens.
We really want to change the way people think about food. I mean, food doesn't have to come from far away. It can come from right in your own backyard. We can localize food economies. We can improve health. I mean, you can grow your own health. I mean, I really believe that's possible, and that's really a true fact. And that we need to come together as communities more so to be able to grow and fortify everything that we're doing. I mean, from bottom to top and from everything that we do. I mean, you can have your beautiful garden and eat it too. And that's a lot of what happens inside the Agriscaping Network is we compete, we grow together, we serve others, we're growing for others. I mean, that's a big part of it. We've made a pro level of growing and being a gardener. I mean, we've made gardening a professional activity that you can do now. It doesn't just have to be a hobby. You can really make money doing this awesome stuff.
So what does that mean? If you own a home, you can turn your yard into an edible garden landscape.
That's right.
Keep for your family, sell it at market.
Yep.
But you can also become certified with you guys to go and install these gardens.
Absolutely. I mean, there's 7 ways you can garden and get paid. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And we provide many different ways that you can learn how and learn at different levels, become an educator. We'd love to get you in different schools and other things. We're getting invites all over the country to find out how they can get and become pro with what we do. Become a consultant. You know, we have so many people wanting to get somebody to come by and just help them with their garden, but they don't know who to turn to. They don't know who's local and who's available.
There's a lot of questions.
There's
out
a
there.
lot of questions. If we could send somebody, I'd love to send somebody to every single person that calls us up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're starting to get to that level that we can literally train people, send them out, they can get served.
So what do you think, getting in contact with you better on your website or your Facebook?
Either way is fine. Facebook is good, but I think the website's best. You can actually apply online. It's all free to apply. You can learn more about all of our programs for certification. You can learn about our mastery program for do-it-yourself mastery.
Or
all
for
the
having you guys
microclimates.
install a yard like yours.
Yeah, if you want it installed for you, if you want someone to come out and do this gardening for you, we have pros in the area that can do that gardening for you. You just click on Get Started, and it'll start you off in the right spot.
Because it'd be worth doing business with you just to get a trampoline garden surrounded by some hugelculture.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. I mean,
would love that.
We've literally installed dozens of those. Every time we do a tour, and I can only do them twice a year because I live in an HOA.
Yeah.
So do them twice a year. One's coming up pretty soon. You know, it's we always get orders for those gardens. It's cool.
Thanks for the knowledge and the inspiration.
Yep.
And guys, hit the like button and share this video. Comment down below, and I'm sure Justin will get in there and maybe answer some comments. Get in contact with Justin. All the links are down below. And I'll see you guys back here next time. Go vegan and grow your food at home. Dude, I haven't played tetherball since I was in school. And since I saw
No
Napoleon
ropesies.
Dynamite.
No ropesies. Oh no.
Oh.
Yep. So this is another addition. This is not edible. This is one of the only non-edible components to our garden. Uh-oh. I've got you. Tree defense.
I got this.
Oh. Uh-oh. Competitive nature starting to come out.
Yeah. This video just changed.
Video.
Someone's gonna leave bloody. Home rules.
There we go.
Kalia takes it.
Yeah.